Cox's Bazar, located near the Bay of Bengal, boasts a stunning 120-kilometer coastline, and maintains an average temperature of over 20 degrees Celsius throughout the year. It has long been a beloved tourist destination in Bangladesh and a renowned wellness retreat. However, in recent years, global attention has shifted away from tourism in Cox's Bazar to the issue of fires in the refugee camps located in the area. Balukhali-Kutupalong, situated in Cox's Bazar, is one of the largest refugee camps in the world, hosting nearly 1 million Rohingya people. Most of these Rohingya fled to Bangladesh in 2017 to escape the oppression by the Myanmar military. From January 2021 to December 2022, there were 222 reported incidents of fires in these refugee camps, including 60 cases of arson, resulting in multiple casualties and tens of thousands left homeless. Where did the Rohingya people originate, and what fuels their deep-seated animosity with the Burmese population? Our channel delves into the dark moments of history. Feel free to subscribe and share your thoughts in the comments as we explore these questions. The Rohingya people claim to be descendants of Arab and Persian ancestry, and have been residing in the Rakhine region for centuries. Conversely, the Burmese argue that the so-called Rohingya are not indigenous to Myanmar but were brought in as illegal immigrants from Bangladesh during the British colonial era. An examination of the authentic history reveals that Rakhine State, located in western Myanmar, was once an independent kingdom known as the Kingdom of Arakan. In 1785, it was annexed by the Konbong dynasty. The Arakan kingdom predominantly practiced Buddhism, shared cultural ties with Myanmar, and maintained peaceful relations with the neighboring Bengal region. Even today, the ancient city of Rohingya in Arakan preserves a centuries-old mosque. However, during that time, the Muslim population in Arakan was relatively small and primarily engaged in trade. So, are these Muslim traders the ancestors of the Rohingya people? While the Rohingya claim they are, the Burmese hold a different view. They assert that the Rohingya's rise in Rakhine State cannot be separated from the three Anglo-Burmese wars. The Anglo-Burmese Wars, commencing in 1824, resulted in Myanmar becoming a British colony. To strengthen their rule, the British introduced immigrants from various countries and exacerbated ethnic tensions, leading to division in the Arakan region. Similar to Belgium colonizing Rwanda and fascist Germany ruling Yugoslavia, this strategy sowed the seeds for future ethnic conflict. The British brought in the first wave of Bengali Muslim immigrants, and leased land to them for cultivation for a period of 99 years. They gradually became tools manipulated by British colonialists to control the indigenous population. However, the Arakanese were left with no choice but to leave their homes. When the lease expired, the number of Bengali Muslims had grown from 30,000 in 1826 to 220,000 in 1925, resulting in increased ethnic conflict. During World War II, to block the Japanese advance into India, the British formed a unit composed of Bengali Muslims known as the V Force. However, when the British retreated to India, the force did not resist the Japanese but instead engaged in the expulsion of the Rakhine Buddhists. According to British records, the force destroyed hundreds of villages and killed over 100,000 Buddhists. After the war, the British colonial government reconciled with the majority ethnic groups in Myanmar and demanded that Bengali Muslims surrender their weapons and land. However, some Bengali Muslims refused to return the land. In 1947, the Muslim Liberation Organization was established to support jihad, attempting to join the newly divided Pakistan, which did not receive support. Consequently, they sought to establish an independent Islamic state. From that point onwards, Rohingya became their self-proclaimed identity. Since Bangladeshi Muslims arrived in northern Myanmar, they have come with swords and conquests. Different ethnic groups and religious beliefs make it difficult for the Rohingya to integrate into the mainstream society of Myanmar. Some of them burned stupas and tried to erect mosques in the mountains and forests of northern Myanmar. However, the Burmese firmly believe that there has never been a historical basis for the term Rohingya. They consider this label to be a creation of illegal Bangladeshi immigrants. During the British colonial period, these people were referred to as Chittagong Muslims or Bengali Muslims. As a result, the Burmese vehemently reject the use of the term Rohingya, and express anger towards the United Nations and the United States for using this terminology. They argue that the so-called Rohingya are, in reality, Bengali Muslims, illegal immigrants, and products of the colonial era, who should return to their place of origin. With the end of World War II and Myanmar's independence, the new government extended an olive branch to the Rohingya people, recognizing them as a minority and allowing their participation in Myanmar's political life. In the 1951 elections, 6 Rohingya members of parliament were elected. But the Muslim Liberation Organization carried out numerous attacks against the federal government, destroying Buddhist villages and gaining control over the northern part of Rakhine State and the Myanmar-Bangladesh border, making peaceful resolutions difficult. In 1962, after a coup in Myanmar, the Ne government pursued policies aimed at expelling the Rohingya people. The government abolished the Border Area Special Administration, restricting Rohingya activities and escalating tensions. In 1964, the Rohingya people launched a large-scale armed resistance that faced severe repression by the Myanmar government, resulting in significant casualties. At this point, the Rohingya people had only 2 options: assimilation or leaving Myanmar. However, their former homeland, Bangladesh, explicitly stated that they would not accept them, leaving the Rohingya people without a place to call home, and steeped in tragedy. In 1978, the Myanmar government initiated an operation codenamed Operation Dragon King to crack down on illegal immigration, leading to approximately 200,000 Rohingya people fleeing to the Myanmar-Bangladesh border, where they faced dire living conditions. In 1982, Myanmar enacted the citizenship law, stipulating that only those whose ancestors had resided in Myanmar before 1823 could be granted citizenship. This law stripped the Rohingya people of their legal status. In 1989, the government attempted to assimilate the Rohingya people by relocating other ethnic groups to their settlements and building Buddhist temples. However, this effort triggered a massive exodus of Rohingya people. Throughout the 1990s, the Rohingya people faced numerous conflicts and persecution, resulting in tens of thousands becoming homeless. In 2012, violence erupted in Rakhine State after the rape and murder of a Buddhist girl by 3 Muslim youths. Adjacent mosques and Buddhist temples were burned down, leaving thousands of Rohingya people homeless. The most recent mass exodus of Rohingya people to Bangladesh occurred in August 2017 when the Myanmar military was attacked by the Arakan Rohingya Salvation Army, ARSA, prompting a clearance operation against the Rohingya people, and resulting in approximately 750,000 fleeing to Bangladesh. The Myanmar military has been accused of human rights violations against the Rohingya people, with a former UN rights chief describing their actions as having genocidal intent. However, the military claims that its actions were in response to deadly attacks by Rohingya insurgents, and were not aimed at civilians. In 2020, during the International Court of Justice proceedings, Aung San Suu Kyi argued that Myanmar was responding to an organized internal armed conflict initiated by militants. She claimed that it was provoked by Rohingya armed forces. The international community's understanding is one-sided. Both Rohingya and Burmese communities have inflicted harm on each other, not solely the Burmese harming the Rohingya. While it may be unfair for some countries to criticize the Rohingya for their lack of moderation, there do exist extremist groups that have repeatedly attacked Myanmar police posts and clashed with local communities. These groups range from the Rohingya Solidarity Organization, Arakan Rohingya Salvation Army. Overall, the Rohingya are a deeply persecuted minority, with a history of conflict and suffering. While some have resorted to radical actions, the vast majority are peaceful individuals, who have also fallen victim to extremist organizations. The main culprits are these extremist forces. The international community widely holds the Myanmar government primarily responsible for this issue, with their actions going far beyond self-defense including severe crimes such as ethnic cleansing, massacres, and sexual violence. The Myanmar government's use of violence against the Rohingya people has left little room for justice. The key to resolving this crisis lies in finding a peaceful path, protecting the rights of the Rohingya people, and making efforts to prevent and combat the spread of extremism. The Rohingya refugees are in an extreme predicament, facing hunger, disease, and perilous sea journeys, exacerbating the humanitarian crisis. Wandering refugees are vulnerable to infiltration by terrorist groups. There is a valid concern that the Rohingya issue could evolve into the expansion of terrorist influence in Southeast Asia. In recent years, there appears to be a change in the stance of the Myanmar military government. On May the 25th of this year, a Myanmar delegation arrived in Bangladesh, attempting to repatriate some refugees through a plan. However, the Rohingya people have refused to return, believing that the Myanmar government's intentions are not genuine but rather driven by international pressure or political motives. Nevertheless, it is also possible that the military government genuinely wishes to improve relations with the Rohingya people and seek a political solution. Such efforts may be influenced by domestic political dynamics in Myanmar and international pressure. The Rohingya people have become a people with nowhere to go in the world, where their homes are, where their future lies, and it is hard to see any way out in the short term. Are Rohingya people really going to be Asia's orphans? We hope you Lions share your thoughts in the comments section. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel for more engaging content. Thank you for tuning in, and we Lions see you next time.